Well, good morning, good afternoon, and a good evening, wherever you might be in the world. We're all on the same time zone collectively, and boy, are we all stuck together collectively. Speaking of stuck together, let's talk about the flash and deuterium water. I think once this is explained to everybody, they will understand what the flash means. We have a hidden enemy that is all around us that nobody knows about. And it is our H2O, which is HDO. You have never drank real water. Your body has never ever touched to your lips true H2O water. Every bit of water on this planet is what you call deuterium water. What does that mean? Okay, H2O has an extra molecule on it to make it heavier, to make it more toxic, and to make it to where your mitochondria, which is your breathing apparatus, your placenta of your cells in your DNA, okay? And what it does is it does not allow, because the molecule is too big, for water to pass into your DNA, the center of your cells. So your body, your cells have never ever touched H2O. It's been D2O that you guys have been drinking. This water is extremely toxic to the body. The oceans are heavier with molecules of deuterium, and we'll talk about that as we get into the video. I'm just going to give you a brief overview, and then I'm going to let the videos do the rest of the work, guys. Okay? So basically, we have a situation where our water has been hijacked, and it is what's called deuterium water. Let's let Michael explain a little bit about deuterium water and why it's so important that we remove the deuterium, away from H2O and let it be what was intended to be on this planet. One other thing I want to mention. We've talked about the firmament. We've talked about watch the water and how what is above is so below. Okay, this water is very heavy water. When we remove this deuterium a molecule off of H2O, the water will be lighter. Okay, our mitochondria will accept it as water. And that's really what this whole war is all about, your DNA, and not letting real water get inside your cells past that mitochondria. All right, let's get a little listen here.
Watch the water. You're about to view information that will expose what may be the biggest cover-up in the history of the world. Big statement, yes? It may sound like hyperbole now, but in a few minutes you will discover that there may be one single mechanism that the cabal, the globalists, use that affects over 99% of the world's population in a very, very dramatic way. By the end of this presentation, you'll know the seriousness and validity of this claim. The following statement is regarding the letter Q. Now, it doesn't matter in the least bit whether you believe or disbelieve in Q. So, who and what is Q? Well, we do know that Q is the highest security level within the U.S. intelligence structure. I personally believe Q is a team of military intelligence personnel that might be working with a quantum computer. But what do we know for sure? Q is a psyop. That might be shocking to Q followers, but now listen. Q may not be an evil psyop, but it is a psyop nonetheless. See, it keeps the enemy guessing at every turn, which is paramount in war. Q also motivates people to ask questions, think for themselves, and take back their own sovereignty. That's, as President Trump says, is huge. This basic definition of Q alone should suffice for now, and the rest is most likely conjecture. So we have seen or heard about posts from this Q entity that have gone mega viral in regards to the term watch the water. There's been massive speculation on what watch the water means, such as the breaking of the Three Gorges Dam followed by a catastrophic flood, or watermarks on ballots that may prove election fraud, and even the evergreen ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal. Many people even believe that a missile launched from a submarine hit an enemy sub off the coast of Hawaii, and that is what watch the water meant. Some have suggested it is a reference to Navy SEAL operations or Ghislaine Maxwell trafficking children to Epstein Island as a submarine operator. There was also even speculation of a Russian KGB agent claimed there was a plan to poison the U.S. water supply, and the list goes on and on. Now, patriots, anons, and Q followers have researched, speculated, and projected on what watch the water means. Even one of the watch the water posts shows two pictures that indicate North Korea has something to do with it. Maybe it's just one or even all of the affirmation theories. I don't know. Although I think the absolute most compelling clue by far is when President Trump feebly used both hands to drink water from a glass and a bottle several times. The mainstream media and social media was apoplectic and went ballistic mocking him, from calling him a toddler to an invalid and indicating a severe health disorder or even a mental disability that would make him unfit to serve as president. All just because he was grasping his water with two hands. Now, regardless of your thoughts on President Trump, he has proven to be very calculating and often communicates through gestures, signs, and body language. What if he did this on purpose? What if he used two hands because he knew it would get worldwide attention? What if he was frustrated because nobody figured out the true meaning of watch the water? What if bringing direct attention to our drinking water, our water supply, was essential to humanity and our thriving and even our survival as a species? That is a powerful statement, I know. So pay attention to this interview with Dr. Jerry Rivera, the renowned inventor of the incredible Rasha technology. I asked him about something called deuterium in our water supply.
Well, I didn't create the research behind it. The Russians did. They've been doing this for, decades. And they figured out that there was a highly toxic substance that is attached to the hydrogen molecule. So when we're drinking, it doesn't matter what type of water it is, whether it's spring water or distilled, reverse osmosis, or, you think you have the best water on the planet. We're not really drinking H2O, it's really HDO. That was another disinformation done on purpose. And HDO, hydrogen, deuterium, oxygen, is a semi-heavy water. Now, deuterium is a isotope of hydrogen, and it is, think of it as twice as heavy. Think of it as your cousin, distant cousin, that is twice as big and heavy as you, okay? Still in your family, but you have a cousin that's just twice the size and twice the weight of you. So it bogs you down. So think of throwing a wrench, the deuterium molecule, into a turbo, a twin turbo Ferrari or a Porsche. That deuterium molecule jams up the ATP synthase nanomotor of the mitochondria so that we're acting or we're functioning at, let's say, 50% capacity at best. When you lower deuterium in your body, you're removing the wrench, you're allowing the turbo to spin at its 9,000 to 12,000 RPM capacity. So then you have more energy, more, let's say, ability to recoup from any type of physical activity. So your recuperation and healing abilities are enhanced. And everything functions in the body at a much higher capacity or percentage. So let's say with consciousness, you'd like to lower deuterium level in your body, because it allows your consciousness to oscillate higher. You know, your physical
Who would have thought?
physical atoms are a downstep of consciousness. So if your conscious, or if your physical body is being jammed up by the deuterium, when you release that, it helps. It's like as above, so below. So we want to, those that are on this path of eternal life potentiality, really reclaiming our ability to not just manifest but materialize things at will. You want to lower deuterium levels in the body, because that is the highest or the most toxic substance that we have. By far outweighs mercury, aluminium, all of those other toxins. Deuterium was put here on purpose, not only to cut our lifespan, because when you remove deuterium, you automatically live a lot longer. Look at the Hunza tribe in Tibet. They're drinking water at, let's say, 120 parts per million, when here in the Western world, all our water is at 155 parts per million. The Siberians in northern Russia, they were drinking from birth to death 126 parts per million or 123 part per million, right? They were living to 125. Average age 125, when we can barely make it out of 80 or 90. So it's very important to lower deuterium levels. Now the question is, how do you lower deuterium levels in the body? Well, you can either sun gaze, there's sun exposure, early morning sun exposure. There's grounding. There is eating a clean ketogenic diet. So all of that absolutely lowers the deuterium levels in the body, and it allows us to create deuterium depleted metabolic water in our body. So this whole misnomer of, oh, you have to drink eight glasses of water a day, who the hell came up with that? You're drinking 8 ounces of poison. And then think about all these guys, these yogis and yoginis that are doing these water fasts. I mean, not only are they poisoning their body because they think that, oh, we're going to go on a water fast, but it just shows me that they really don't understand biochemistry. And it's very simple. Look and see where deuterium lies on the elemental chart, and you'll see it's the first isotope of hydrogen, right? That's the first thing. But you think we as Westerners remember that? No, but it's very important to go back to that. Biochemistry is very important. If you are looking to not just expand your life by 5 or 10 years, let's say, we can easily get to 125 with quality of life. So, yeah.
How is it that on some places on the planet there's less deuterium?
Okay, great question. So deuterium freezes first, 1 degree above, I think 32 degrees. So deuterium gets caught in the ice. So if you're drinking glacial melt water, you're automatically drinking lower deuterium level water. So in Siberia or in Tibet, or let's say even in Canada, okay, or Antarctica, if you're drinking glacial melt water, you're automatically drinking lower deuterium level water. The sea, unfortunately, seawater is at the highest, at 155 parts per million. So, if you're a surfer, just think about surfers. Yeah, it's a great lifestyle. It's, you catch their waves. But you take a look at any surfer versus someone that doesn't surf. They're constantly exposed to the ocean water. Constantly, they looked aged way faster than someone that doesn't surf. It's because they're frolicking in high levels of deuterium all their lives, thinking, oh man, surfing is great. It's a great sport or whatever. But you are aging at a much faster rate because you are bathing in high levels of deuterium. Now, I know surfers are going to be pissed. They're going to be like, but you just do your due diligence. You do your research. And then you tell me, would you want to be bathing? I love the ocean. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I'm not going to be in it 12 hours of the day if I know that seawater has 155 parts per million. That's just moronic.
So, is there any benefit to deuterium? Could we get it to zero, or is there some function that it has?
Well, there is, of course. I mean, obviously, you know, as an infant, as an embryo, you're going to need certain levels of deuterium, right? It's part of the periodic table of elements, and there's a certain time frame where it is beneficial. However, just like everything else, once you reach a certain age, you want to lower that. You don't want it in your body. And I challenge anyone that's listening to this, do your research. Go take a look at the Russian research and see how there's a correlation of high levels of deuterium to, say, psychosis, to cancer, to bipolar, to depression. They're out there.
The following statement is actually taken from the National Institutes of Health website. It states, upon ingestion of deuterium oxide, 2H, also known as D for deuterium, is incorporated into the deoxyribose moiety of DNA of newly divided cells, rapidly dividing cells, as in the case of B-cell chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Did you catch that? It propagates leukemia. So, if we need our deuterium...
So I just want to stop, excuse me, right there, and I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. Remember that parasites in your body look for inflammation. Those are the areas where they're comfortable, like your most comfortable bed. Okay, that's what they go seeking out in your body is inflammation. Okay, and so where you get inflammation, you're going to have a large gathering of parasites. All right, and deuterium assists in that with its heaviness and with its setup to clog your DNA and stuff like that. So I just wanted to stop right there, and basically deuterium is an accelerator. Okay, because it doesn't allow oxygen, it doesn't allow your cells and stuff to function the way they're supposed to. Therefore, you're increasing the speed of, you're giving the parasites a perfect environment, is really what it boils down to, while you're stealing water from your DNA, which is your baby of your body that we're supposed to be taking care of, and it's being stolen from. All right, let's keep going here and keep listening.
Deuterium levels between 120 to 130, and they are on average hovering around 150, which is known to cause disease, reduce energy levels, suppress our cognitive abilities, and reduce our lifespan. The question we pose is this intentional?
Deuterium was put here on purpose, not only to cut our lifespan, because when you remove deuterium, you automatically live a lot longer.
As Dr. Jerry indicated, the Russians are pioneering the exposure and research of semi-heavy water, which proves toxic levels of deuterium are in our water worldwide. Could this be why the globalist-controlled politicians, mainstream and social media platforms massively demonize Russia and other leaders that do not comply? Have you seen Putin's comments exposing the globalist agenda? How about the Tanzanian president who died shortly after publicly exposing the false COVID testing? Now, the new Tanzanian president has a very forward, globalist compliant agenda. Coincidence? There was also the alleged video of the Ghana president reading out the Rockefeller Papers. He himself has yet to deny it was his voice, although some in his cabinet have said it was not him. So are you aware of these high-level public disclosures? Remember, the globalists want you to look at the one hand which is shown to us, while the hidden hand does the dirty work. The hidden hand are the high-level Freemasons signing their compliance to each other. So, is Russia bad? Maybe not. You've heard fluoride is the worst. It's not good, yes. The worst? Probably not. See, the globalists create order out of chaos. They create the problem, which is not the big problem, and then they supply the solution. Example may be, fluoride is in your water. The solution is a litany of legitimate ways to remove fluoride from your water. So all our focus is on fluoride, while there is a much bigger risk: deuterium. In order to break out of this matrix, you must recognize this globalist tactic of diversion and inversion. This is so you can dispel their evil magic. Oh, I'm sorry, agenda, evil agenda. Another example could point to the many scientific articles that appear to parrot each other. They state that based on the levels of deuterium in many comets, it is speculated that deuterium has been on this planet well before man existed. When searching the word deuterium on government and/or popular health or corporate tech websites, you may notice that they shift your focus immediately to the following statement: nearly all deuterium found in nature was produced in the Big Bang over 13 billion years ago.
Lie.
What relevance does that have to your search? The answer is very little, unless you are searching for the origin of deuterium. Even then, at worst case, you would think you would be diverted to the Nobel Prize discovery of deuterium, which occurred in the early 1930s. But no, they insist it was the Big Bang, which is nothing more than a theory. We can produce a completely different film based on the origins and purpose of the Big Bang Theory, but we will save that for another day. Now, others have speculated that deuterium was intentionally placed on Earth and is a control mechanism of mankind due to the reduced lifespan and health issues caused by it. Many believe that excess deuterium was infused into our planet by man or even non-terrestrials. Seems like a far reach, of course. But aren't we learning that anything is possible with these evildoers? Either way, we do know that the globalists are fully aware of the negative effects that semi-heavy water, H2O, has on our bodies, and we can assume that the elites are currently not drinking or bathing in this stuff themselves. And of course, we know for sure that God doesn't make mistakes and wouldn't intentionally poison our planet's water supply. So, why push the Big Bang Theory in relation to excess deuterium? I can think of two reasons, and yes, I am theorizing. One, it is yet another way the globalists try to eliminate the idea of intelligent design. No God or source. And of course, two, again, it diverts our attention from the possibility that deuterium may have been intentionally planted here on Earth. I know this is a lot to swallow. We know that 150 parts per billion of deuterium in our bodies certainly accomplishes the globalist agenda. It drastically reduces our quality of life, suppresses our cognitive abilities, which includes our intuitive nature and discernment, reduces life expectancy, seems to cause several diseases, and accelerates cell splitting. It also appears with recent studies that a depleted deuterium water can assist in the growth and thrivability of plant life. And last but not least, deuterium is an amazing energy source that is super clean and massively abundant. You can decide if the suppression of this information is intentional. For me, I'm done with coincidences. Did you know that the US, the former European Union, Japan, Russia, China, India, and South Korea are all collaborating on an incredible fusion machine called ITER, which is Latin meaning the way? It is currently being constructed in a massive top-secret facility in France. It will be the first publicly known device to create net energy at a ratio of 10:1. The goal of ITER is to harness fusion power and create power plants that supply unlimited energy. So guess what the key component needed to create fusion with in this machine? Wait for it. Let's wait for it. That's right, it's deuterium. And where do you find an abundant supply of deuterium? Of course, in the water. So, what needs to be depleted by extraction to make the water healthier and more useful for mankind? Deuterium, of course. Even if deuterium's not used for fusion, it can be burned as a very clean gas or fuel. So let's think about this. Research now shows that lowering our deuterium levels could A. Make mankind much healthier, less susceptible to cancer and other diseases, increasing our quality of life. B. Helps us resonate at a much higher level of cognitiveness and discernment. C. Drastically increases our life expectancy. D. Massively increases the growth and health of plant life, which in turn increases our oxygen levels. E. Have substantial health benefits for animals. F. Be one of the most clean and available energy sources on Earth, even without fusion. How about G? All of the above. As said by Dr. Jerry, maybe our water should be labeled HDO, hydrogen, deuterium, oxygen, instead of H2O. There is some debate, but most agree on the following. The oceans have deuterium at 156 parts per million. It freezes at a lower temperature. It is too high for our body's safe consumption. It is a clean, abundant energy fuel, and depleted deuterium water is definitely the long-term solution. What if we created efficient machines that extracted deuterium from our water? Then, knowing that deuterium is one of the best, cleanest, and available fuels on Earth, we use it to deliver unlimited clean energy, or even fusion. What would the result of a healthier water for our plants, animals, and of course all of us be? What would happen if we had unlimited clean energy? Well, famine would be abolished, as food would be plentiful, housing would be abundant, and people would live longer, healthier lives while oscillating at an exceptional level of intuition, where guess what? The globalists could never trick and control us again. The application of this theory alone sends shivers up the spine of the satanic elites. So here's the dilemma, and I shoot straight from the hip as not to sell you hopium or fear porn. Currently, and contrary to some claims, deuterium cannot be efficiently removed by reverse osmosis or distillation processes. Unfortunately, deuterium is still in the rainwater and wells. What about adding alkalinity to my water? Well, higher alkalinity is a good idea, and it has been proven powerful in its health benefits. But unfortunately, the deuterium remains in the water. How about glacial water? Glacial water is the way to go. Unfortunately, most companies that market this do not have lower deuterium levels in their glacial water, so you must investigate before purchasing. See, our traditional methods are virtually useless, but hope is not lost, and there are a few current options. You may be curious at what the deuterium levels in your water are, and more importantly, what are the levels in your body and what can we do about it? There are currently a couple options to test for deuterium and to purchase deuterium depleted water, but I do feel that they are currently incredibly expensive. We are working to find the best and most affordable solutions, and we will have a dedicated page for deuterium updates and strategies at screwbiggov.com. Here's our public challenge. This is for inventors and engineers alike to create an efficient and affordable
inventors
way to
and engineers.
deuterium depleted water. In addition, I challenge you to set your greed and ego aside and make it open source for everybody to view. We at screwbiggov.com will gladly post ideas and debates in regard to this public work. Until deuterium...
Okay, I'm going to pause it right there. We really just don't need all of that, okay? And you're going to know why in just a second here. So, there is the silent enemy. They sidetrack us with fluoride. They sidetrack us with all this other stuff that does not belong in our water or in our food. But this word deuterium is what they didn't want you to find out. It would be kind of like God and the devil, the opposite of each other. We have an example of God in the form of the regular H2O, and then we would have evil injecting itself with the deuterium, like that. Just an example, okay, guys? Now, this deuterium is all over the world and all our water and everything we drink. So the biggest thing I'm pointing out today is what is the solution? Now, on this video, okay, these guys are awake. I don't know how awake they are, but it is my understanding. Everybody keeps talking about the flash, a solar flash. People use the word solar. And that is what they're going to use in one big flash to go ahead and remove the deuterium around the world. That is why they keep talking about these moments of where we're all going to be, kind of wondering what's going on, because when the flash comes, it's going to remove the deuterium. We have temporary ways for you guys to get the deuterium out of your water, and I will explain that in just a minute. But I really want to focus on the fact that you saw Trump, you saw him with the water. He was holding two hands to it to show people that it's heavy water. Because it is heavy. It's like sticking a bowling ball in our bodies and running around with that in all of our cells, all of our life. Your mitochondria cannot get water to it. Therefore, the DNA dies. The soul of who we are, physically and psychologically and scientifically. Our DNA is who we are. And we can't take care of that, not with deuterium around, okay? So the main idea behind this video is to tell you guys that the flash that is coming is going to be to remove the deuterium. So it can be nothing but good. They have talked about the water around us above and below, okay? And if you don't believe in flat earth, then let me change it up for you a little bit, all right? Our oceans, he explained it to you, okay? That the oceans are full of this deuterium. So you say, well, okay, that means that the water's going to be lighter, right? Yes. The water is going to be lighter. It's going to be very much similar to what is outside of the firmament. Very lightweight. Okay, and you think, oh, okay, that means the water is going to start floating. Well, I'm going to put some videos behind this. I'm going to have a whole informational section below for you to be able to go and listen more. If there's any one thing I can stress to you guys to learn about, it's deuterium. Deuterium is the devil of the earth. And when we get rid of that, it will change everything. And I do believe that is going to be in the single flash, okay? Now, let me just take this a step further and talk with you guys for a minute about how you can remove it, because you can. And it's a pain in the butt, like when I request for you guys take your baths and take your ivermectin and stuff like that, fenbenzonol, to rid yourself of parasites. It's kind of a pain for the first couple of days, but once you get a routine down of doing this, you can at least drink real H2O for the first time. And when you pull this water out and you drink it for the first time, you can feel it, you can taste it, you can tell there's something different. Your body, you will feel your body light up inside of you, because for the first time, you will be putting water that can pass through your mitochondria and go ahead and get into that DNA, because when we take care of that DNA, we are going to live and live and live and healthy and happy humans the way it was supposed to be. You have your devil right here, the DD, deuterium devil. Let's talk a little bit about removal of deuterium. Now, granted, if you're a very rich person, you're already doing this, all right? You're bathing in very expensive water. Now, you can go online to Amazon and get it sent to you without the deuterium in it. But first of all, let me just tell you, most of it's in plastic. And guys, it's more expensive than anything on the planet. It's very expensive. but you can get it out yourself. Let's just talk about that for a minute. I do this, but it's not all the time, okay? This process will remove the deuterium, guaranteed, okay? And it, like I said, it's kind of a pain in the butt when you first start doing it, but once you get a system down and you can get that deuterium water and, you know, start to back it up a little bit, where you get a few glass jars. Use glass as much as you can, guys. Get a few glass jars under your belt. Okay, you'll get going with it. You can tell the difference between the deuterium water and regular HDO water, okay, which is deuterium water. The H2O, I meant. You can tell the difference. And if you can put this in you as much as possible, if there's anything, I would say that you would almost have to commit to this more than the parasitic cleanse. Of course, they are both dually important, as they both will kill you quickly, okay? But I'm just stressing to you how important this deuterium, this evil that is lurking around us, come off of our planet and not exist. We need that flash, all right? That flash is going to remove that molecule. Okay, and it's coming. I just don't know when. All right, let's go ahead and just take a quick peek at this. And they're going to show you the process of how to remove the deuterium. And when the first time you go to put this water to your lips, okay, I want you to feel it emotionally while you do it. I want you to recognize what it is and what you're giving to your body. If, you know, there was any way at all to spiritually, physically add goodness to your body, if I were to ever call anything a god, I would call it non-deuterium water, okay? There is nothing more important right now than exposing ourselves, okay, to non-deuterium water. Let's go ahead and get a listen.
All right, in this video, we're going to try to use some simple household supplies to make deuterium depleted water. I'm not selling anything. I've just noticed that if you want to go on a low deuterium diet, the water is really expensive, and the magic machines that may or may not work are really, really expensive too. So here's the basic science behind it. So hydrogen has 1 proton and 1 electron, and water is made out of 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. So deuterium looks like hydrogen, which has a proton and an electron, but a neutron will get in here and hook up here, and then that becomes deuterium. So deuterium is the same as hydrogen, and it acts like water, and it lives in your water, but it's got this neutron in there that makes it twice as heavy and changes some of the other properties. And then when you drink it, your body can't process it the same way it would process water. So that's the science behind wanting to get the deuterium out of your water. And then deuterium, or heavy water, is D2O rather than H2O.
So this extra neutron makes it heavier.
That's why they call it heavy water when a water is high in deuterium or all deuterium. The freezing point is also warmer, so it freezes a few degrees warmer than your regular water molecule would. And so that's the key. We want to get it to freeze and remove the deuterium that way. Now, in most water, you're talking about 155 parts per million. So if there's a million parts of H2O, there's 155 parts of deuterium. So depleted deuterium water supposedly is better for you. Your body will function more efficiently, and there's even people who say that it can reverse or prevent cancer and all kinds of other magic things. I don't know if that's true, but I figure if we can get it out of the water by doing something simple in the freezer, let's go for it. Now, they've tested naturally in the mountains. They go up to the mountains and they test the water coming from the stream in the mountains, and the water in the stream when the snow is melting has lower deuterium levels than your average water, so less than 155 parts per million, leading me to believe that something in the freezing cycle can remove deuterium from your water. That also is consistent with the fact that the freezing temperature is higher, so it'll freeze at a higher temperature than regular water.
Okay.
It's best if you start out with some clean water. So you can either buy some distilled water that's bottled, you can make your own distilled water, or we've got reverse osmosis filter that I use for my water in my house. So that's what we're going to start with.
So the water goes in the freezer and you let it freeze for a couple hours so that it's frozen around the edges but still liquid in the middle. The idea being that the deuterium has the lower freezing point, so it's going to freeze, whereas the water, pure water, isn't going to freeze. Then you punch a little hole in it and put it into a glass jar. So everything that stays frozen inside your bucket contains the deuterium, and you're just going to end up with mostly pure water when you dump it into the jar. Now, some of my research indicates that people think you should expose it to ultraviolet light. So either put it under an ultraviolet light bulb or put it outside after you shake it up. I'm not exactly sure why they tell you to do this, but people say you should do that after your first pass. And then after 30 minutes in the sun, put it back in the freezer, freeze it again
I don't put
to
mine
remove
in the
more
sun.
of the deuterium. It gets less and less effective as you do more and more passes through the freezer. So you want to do at least 2 times. You can do 3 or 4 if you're really paranoid. And then you should have pretty clean water there at the end. And then all of your troubles will be solved, your cancer will go away, and everything will be perfect. Throw that deuterium away. Bad water.
Yes, throw that in the
Bad.
garbage.
At
There's
Fry's
evil.
Pharmacy.
And basically, the video stops at 54. So you just basically keep going back and forth and passing as many times as you want between the two of getting your clean water. You can do it as many times as you want. The more you do it, the more you freeze it like that and get that deuterium separated, the more pure it's going to be, and the more less parts per million you'll have of that deuterium in there. Now, he's using plastic. You can use glass or plastic, guys. You're going to have to just do it a couple of times yourself and get a routine down and see what suits you best. But as much as you can possibly put this liquid H2O in your body, the better off you're going to be. If you know people with babies, encourage them to do this, okay? There is nothing more special than the first time your body gets a taste of H2O, real water. And in terms of the way that I would say it, I would put the water H2O as God and the deuterium as evil. If you want to place that situation out on a silver platter where you can see it, this is it, okay? We have definitely our God here and our evil in here. And it was added. Now, if you deep dive on this, you're going to come up with a whole bunch of different theories on why and who and what placed deuterium there. I have done some deep dives and I disagree with a few things he said. Man did put this here. Okay, the cabal did put this here. We need that flash. So, flash bang. We need that flash to come across and get that deuterium out of our water. It's just an absolute must. We can't move forward with deuterium in our water. And those machines and everything that they've got going on to remove the deuterium, yeah, that'd be great for energy. What a great place to use deuterium, right? For energy. Probably that's what it was meant for in the first place. You know our technology. They've stolen everything from us. There's nothing left. The rats. Okay, and so we're going to change that. So anybody who is scared about this thing called the solar flash or the flash, okay, don't be scared. It will be a coming of the cleaning out of the water. We are 72% water in our bodies, and this stuff is toxic. And for you women out there that are trying to lose weight, imagine how much less we would weigh if it wasn't for the deuterium in our body. It's all over the place. Now, listen, guys, I just want to be logical with the ones that are freaking out about this right now, going, oh my God, you know. Remember, we've been living the way we've lived for a very, very long time, okay? And we've survived. And I think the cabal is in shock, okay? Because they can't believe how resilient we are. The DNA is a very, very powerful thing, guys. Very powerful. It can survive. Think about it this way. If your DNA has never had true water and it allows you to live to be 70 or 80 years old, wow, that's pretty darn good considering your body is born and dies and is deprived of H2O, the one thing we are. So we're not doing half bad here. Let's give ourselves some credit here, okay? Like that. And I do believe the awake will be aware of when the flash will happen, and I believe they're going to use it as a fake nuclear event for the flash. It'll also do a lot of damage to some of these structures around the world during this. I'm going to say it's probably going to be a 12 to 24-hour period where they're going to present it to the public because of the flash and the light as a nuclear event like that. Possibly, like I said, this is just my theories. I encourage you guys with everything I am, if there's anything that you've ever researched, let it be deuterium. Like I said, you know how much I stress about the parasites in your bodies and stuff like that to get it out. But I can't say it enough that this is a step above. We've got to get the deuterium out of the water. It is a must. And it wouldn't hurt them with these, big, you saw it over in Russia where it removes the deuterium. It really makes me mad that they're making deuterium water, and they're kind of stupid because they're putting it in plastic, which is ridiculous. They're making deuterium water, but they make it $100 for 12 bottles. Do you see what they're doing to us? We've got to get the upper hand, guys. We've got to get back out there as humans and be what we're meant to be. And it's coming fast. You guys see what just happened this week? We just shot the Fed in the dirt and kicked them out the door for the first time by not taking their bait of the medical field and people that are illegal here in this country keeping their medical insurance, because that's what the Democrats were doing to go ahead and give us our money back. We said, screw ya, keep it. And there's the Federal Reserve. Screw ya, keep it. And that just happened in the last 48 hours, the beginning step, the baby step, the little toe that you stick in the water and you go, wow, is this warm in here? And we're getting ready to jump in. Okay, we are going to do a full bombshell cannonball right into the swimming pool, and we are going to begin again as humans in just a wonderful world. We have such great things ahead for us, you guys. Do your best, as I always say, you first. The only people that are running the show right now are the ones that are fully awake and collectively vibrate together. Lots of people complaining about headaches this week. It's all of the awake people. The ones that aren't awake, they just attribute it to something else. We're attributing the headaches of the collective as our frequency coming up. In raising. We do have to get to a certain frequency before we can do this flash, guys. But we can't go too fast on the humans. Humans would die. I don't know if you guys remember about us pulling the kids out of the tunnel out there in New York when we had Mercy Hospital shipped there. And we said it was because of people that were sick with COVID. And that wasn't true. We were pulling kids up. Unfortunately, they went really slow with them. But a lot of them we lost because they can't handle the change from the pressure down below to coming up. The same is identical with us. We can only go so fast. This whole war is gauged around us. Everybody thinks we're waiting for things to happen. We're not. They're waiting on us in the Law of War Manual, because that's what the Law of War Manual is all about, is humans and surviving. The 3D versus the 5D. The 3D would have been Hillary, we'd all been dead by 2030, and the few of us that were left would have gone down under with her nasty roach. Okay, I won't go there. But because of Operation Warp Speed, we were able to change that and put ourselves back on the 5D track. We've got to get the deuterium out of the water, and then we can flourish. But what needs to be gone first? The cabal. And we're all hoping for that very, very much, that we have a go button on that they're completely gone. And I do believe, whether you believe in God or you don't, you believe in the universe, you believe in frequency, whatever you might believe, the bottom line is deuterium is our worst enemy, and they've been hiding it from us. And we're going to get it out really fast here. It'll be interesting to see what our water is really supposed to look like. And I have a feeling that all the areas in the world that are deserts that are meant to have water, this is what will change that and give that water back where it belongs naturally. The areas of the earth that aren't supposed to have water, I believe that just by taking the deuterium out of the water, we're going to see a totally different behavior. And I think structurally around the earth with water and how much it's changed, like areas like the Grand Canyon and stuff like that were meant to have water, it will return there naturally. And of course we know the Three Gorge Dam had everything to do with us losing its rights to behave naturally. It actually changed the geography of the earth with us putting that dam up, and most dams have to go because dams were really bad, guys. A lot of nefarious things went on deep inside of dams and below. So for right now, I'm just going to tell you guys, I'll put everything in the description below so you'll have everything. Click on the videos and watch them. I'll also put the video of how to remove the deuterium out of the water also. It wouldn't hurt too to back it up with one of those oxygenation things. After you're done removing the deuterium, go ahead and run that through. My apologies, I should have shut that off. I just wanted to get the motion of the ocean. Go ahead and run it through one of those oxygenators. You put it in and it puts oxygen back into the water. You give that along with the deuterium water. Yeah, give yourself about 1 year, and then I'll ask you how you feel, right? And of course, you guys, as always, you first. If there's anything you can do, and if you just can't get there, I want you to treat your DNA like it's a baby inside of you and make that first, because there is nothing more important than your DNA, what you're made up of, your codes, and who you are. Okay, it's very, very important. You first, guys. There is nothing wrong with being selfish, because when you're selfish first and you take care of you, you can be there for everybody else around you. Practice this. Practice making you first. If you go out for lunch from your work and, you're usually gone for that 1 hour and you do the same routine, stop for a minute and say to yourself, what can I do for 10 minutes for myself? Well, tonight is Saturday night, so I'm going over just for me, and I'm going to go pick a movie out that I want to watch just for me. Make it a me night. Start making more me nights. We have play dates for children. We have adults that get together doing different things. But when do you get together with yourself and just spend time with you? Making it all about you, getting to know what the wants and needs are of you truly. Because just like deuterium, a witch was slammed into us that we don't come first. That was so it would deplete us early. No, flip it, and we have the truth, right? So with that was my announcement about what I believe through my hypothesis is going to be the Flash. We have to get the evil out of the water, leaving H2O behind for us. Like I said, I'll put everything in the description, guys, and take your time and use your own discernment, do your research. And with that, I hope to see everybody on the other side of things. Deuterium free, right? Go ahead and grab yourself a glass of that water, guys. Make it tonight. Try it out. It only takes 2 hours to get that first round out. I personally do it 2 to 3 times. I pass in the freezer like that. With that, you guys have yourselves a very nice evening. This is Wendy from News Force, and over and out.